Hi, and thank you for visiting my channel. For more information, kindly subscribe and follow. Now let's get started. A former WWE veteran claimed that AEW and Tony Khan could bank on Triple H, making a mistake with the Bloodline storyline. The veteran also compared the situation to a popular scenario in the 1990s. The Bloodline has been WWE's biggest angle since its beginning in 2020. The story took a turn after Solo Sikoa created his own version of the faction and kicked off a feud with Roman Reigns' OG Bloodline. Former WCW World Champion Vince Russo drew comparisons between the Bloodline saga and the NWO storyline. Speaking on Sportskeeda Wrestling's WrestleBinge, Russo and Dr. Chris Featherstone were asked why Triple H drags stories for so long. Vince Russo claimed that dragging the NWO story gave way to the Attitude Era. He also stated that Tony Khan and AEW could benefit from WWE dragging stories if they had a clue. And Chris, I'm telling you, man, when it NWO got old and stale, that opened up the doors for the Attitude Era. I'm telling you guys, I was there. They were beating that thing to the ground, and it meant nothing. That created an opening for us. If Tony Khan knew what he was doing, it could be the same exact thing. Fortunately for them, Tony Khan has no clue. From 2400 hours 31 to 2400 hours 59. Moreover, Russo also stated that AEW needs to tear down and rebuild, but they are not going to. It remains to be seen if Tony Khan will be able to upstage Triple H. The rise of the Bloodline as WWE's most dominant faction in recent years has captivated fans and established itself as one of the most iconic storylines in professional wrestling. However, according to a WWE veteran, Triple H's recent creative decisions surrounding the Bloodline could backfire, potentially opening the door for Tony Khan and AEW to capitalize on WWE's misstep. A miscalculated move by Triple H. When Triple H took the reins of WWE Creative, many believed he would steer the Bloodline story to even greater heights. The faction, led by Roman Reigns, had been riding a wave of success, with captivating betrayals, alliances, and unexpected twists. Yet, recent developments have left fans questioning the direction of the storyline. At the heart of the issue is Triple H's handling of Solo Sikoa and Jey Uso. The simmering tension within the Bloodline after Jey's defection was expected to lead to a climactic showdown. Instead, fans were presented with a convoluted story that saw Jey exiled to Raw, leaving the Bloodline on SmackDown fragmented and unfocused. WWE veteran Dutch Mantel recently voiced his concerns about this creative decision, saying, "The Bloodline had the potential to dominate for another year if the story was handled correctly. But now, it feels like they're spinning their wheels, moving Jey Uso to Raw cut off the emotional core of the story. This could be a big mistake, one that Tony Khan and AEW could exploit. The AEW advantage. Tony Khan, the mastermind behind AEW, has shown a knack for capitalizing on WWE's shortcomings. AEW has been steadily gaining ground in the wrestling world, thanks in part to its focus on compelling storytelling and fresh matchups. If the Bloodline loses steam, it creates a significant opportunity for AEW to solidify its position as WWE's top competitor. According to Mantel, AEW is already doing what WWE is failing to do right now, keeping fans invested in long-term stories. If Tony Khan can present a faction as compelling as the Bloodline or capitalize on this opening, WWE could have a real fight on its hands. One way AEW could capitalize is by elevating factions like the Blackpool Combat Club or the Elite, both of which already have strong fan followings. By drawing parallels to the Bloodline's dominance, AEW could craft rivalries that tap into the same emotional investment WWE fans once had. Roman Reigns' absence adds to the problem. Another key factor in the Bloodline's decline is Roman Reigns' sporadic schedule. While Reigns' limited appearances were initially an effective way to enhance his mystique, the prolonged absences have left the Bloodline rudderless. Roman's part-time schedule works only if the rest of the faction is strong enough to carry the story in his absence, Mantel explained. But with Jey on Raw and Solo Sikoa lacking direction, there's no central figure to keep fans engaged. WWE is banking too much on Roman's star power without addressing the cracks forming in the story. Tony Khan could seize this opportunity by showcasing a consistent and dominant champion in AEW. Whether it's MJF, Kenny Omega, or another top star, AEW's ability to keep its champions visible and active could contrast sharply with WWE's approach to Roman Reigns. Internal conflict in WWE. Reports suggest that WWE's creative team is divided over the direction of the Bloodline storyline. Some believe the group should dissolve entirely, allowing its members to explore solo careers, while others argue for a reinvention of the faction with new blood. Triple H has remained tight-lipped about his long-term plans, but insiders claim that recent decisions, such as focusing on Jimmy Uso's wavering loyalty and sidelining Solo Sikoa, were met with skepticism backstage. Mantell commented, "Triple H is in a tough spot. He inherited a storyline that had already reached its peak. The challenge is figuring out how to sustain that momentum or end it in a way that satisfies fans. Right now, it feels like they're dragging things out without a clear endgame." Fan discontent. Fan reactions to the recent developments in the Bloodline storyline have been mixed. While some appreciate the slow burn approach, others feel that WWE is losing sight of what made the Bloodline special. The lack of a clear antagonist or direction has left viewers frustrated, and ratings for SmackDown have seen a slight dip in recent weeks. AEW's ability to read fan sentiment and pivot accordingly could give them an edge. By delivering high-stakes matches and satisfying conclusions to its storylines, AEW could win over disillusioned WWE fans. Potential stars to watch. If the Bloodline's decline continues, WWE risks losing its grip on the top-tier storytelling that has set it apart. AEW, meanwhile, has a roster brimming with talent ready to step into the spotlight. Mantell pointed to stars like Darby Allin and Wardlow as potential game-changers for AEW. AEW doesn't need to replicate the Bloodline. They just need to tell stories that resonate with fans. Guys like Darby and Wardlow have the potential to be breakout stars if booked correctly. That's something Tony Khan excels at. The road ahead for WWE. Despite the criticisms, it's not too late for WWE to course-correct. Mantell believes that bringing Jey Uso back into the Bloodline fold or introducing a new adversary for Roman Reigns could reignite fan interest. WWE thrives on moments, he said. If they can create a moment that shocks the audience, whether it's a major betrayal or a new alliance, they can salvage this story. But they need to act fast, because AEW isn't going to wait for WWE to get its act together. A warning to Triple H. The Bloodline's decline serves as a cautionary tale for Triple H and WWE's creative team. As AEW continues to grow and innovate, WWE can't afford to rest on its laurels. Mantell's warning is clear. Triple H has the tools to make WWE untouchable, but one bad decision could open the door for Tony Khan. Wrestling fans are loyal, but they're also fickle. If WWE doesn't give them what they want, they'll find it elsewhere. In the ever-evolving world of professional wrestling, the battle between WWE and AEW is far from over. Whether the Bloodline story rises again or becomes a missed opportunity could define this chapter in wrestling history. The ball is in Triple H's court, but the clock is ticking.